Welcome back to Cultural Geography. Please take out your other cultural metaphor handout that I've given you guys in your packet. It's called the Israeli kibbutzim. Remember, everyone, that I am using the book Understanding Global Cultures by Martin J. Gannon to cover this material. So today and probably the beginning of next week, we will be covering the culture metaphor. So one more time, if you weren't listening the first time, this is your handouts. Please don't try to start writing all this down. Let's get going. L. Meyer said in 1982, the kibbutz is the ultimate symbol of pioneering labor Zionism, the institutional embodiment of the dream of returning to the land, working it, receiving sustenance from it, and reviving an ancient culture in the process. First of all, what is the kibbutzim? The kibbutzim are collectivistic farms that played a critical role in the Jewish settlement and development of the country of Israel. The basic principles of kibbutz life are community ownership of all property, absolute equality of members, democratic decision-making, the value of work as an end as well as a means, communal responsibility for child labor, and the primacy of the group over the individual. The kibbutz has been relatively successful as a social, innovative, political, and economic enterprise. Members of the kibbutz receive no pay for their work. All their essential needs like food, shelter, clothing, medical care, and education are provided by the community. Children are raised with their peers. Meals are usually eaten in the kibbutz dining hall, and members convene weekly to discuss and vote on issues. No one or no small group of people have more control than others for long periods of time. Elections for important positions in kibbutz are done on a regular basis. The kibbutz reflects many of the essential features of the Israeli society and character. So let's talk about these characteristics of the kibbutz culture, but then also recognize this does a decent job at describing what the Jewish people are like. Roman number 1, explicit values. Explicit values are those which nearly all members of a culture share. In Israel, these values include democracy, egalitarianism, socialism, and deep connection to the land. So let's begin with the first explicit value of democracy. Almost all decisions and rules are voted on. No one major decision can be made by one person or a small group of people. Democracy is a deep-rooted Jewish value. Jews have developed a self-deprecating sense of humor that deflated pretentiousness and heightened a feeling of social democracy. What all that means is Jewish humor is not used to insult or belittle a particular person, much like is common in most countries. They have helped with the success of the political democracy. Israel is a parliamentary democracy with 3 branches. The whole country is a single electoral constituency, and each party's percentage is considered in the final vote. If a minor party receives 2% of the electoral vote, they will have 2% representation in the government. This promotes the existence of many different political parties and difficulty for agreement and unity in government. Israel is not a theocratic nation, like some people might imagine. Although all Israelis are required to serve in the military, the power of democracy has kept the power of the military in check. Israelis are required to serve 3 years in the military, and after that, 30 days each year for many years. The Israeli army is highly professional with a basic discipline similar to that of many other armies, but it is always the first preference to train the soldier by example, not by order and punishment. Let me give you an example. The army is not an aristocratic institution as it continues to be in some democratic countries. There is no deliberate attempt to break the will of the recruits. It is a citizen army, and the gap between officers and men is minimal. There are few privileges of rank. The Israeli military code bluntly states that officers have no privileges whatsoever, only duties. Officers are usually addressed by their first names. There are no fancy uniforms. Military titles are used in writing, but rarely in verbal address. The use of such titles in civilian life after retirement is frowned upon. Job turnover among officers is unusually rapid, and the Army is almost never a lifelong occupation. Most officers are weeded out soon after they reach 40. This practice has helped to prevent the establishment of a military class. Another explicit value that Jews have is that of egalitarian society. It promotes the equality of all people. In a survey study of 53 nations, Israel had the second lowest score on the dimension of power distance, or the belief that inequality among members of society should be emphasized. In case you're wondering, the lowest country was Austria. The Jews' history of centuries of oppression has made them skeptical of the indiscriminate use of power. In short, there is a basic disrespect for authority. For example, cheating on taxes is common in Israel. Instead, they favor something called voluntarism. Rather than formal authority is highly regarded throughout Israeli society. While there is disrespect for following the laws, members spend a relatively large amount of time on voluntary efforts. A third explicit value is that of socialism. No, we're not thinking of the Cold War and communism. And, for some of you older or more familiar with the 20th century history, but rather this idea that the major means of production and distribution are managed, controlled by the community as a whole. And this is, by the way, again, voluntary. It's not forced, like in some socialistic countries. It is a system whereby members work as he or she can and receives what he or she needs. Almost all needs are met. The concept of national responsibility for basic health, housing, and social welfare is given. Although it's estimated that 25% of the population lives below the poverty line, there is not one documented case of an Israeli dying of hunger or malnutrition. The family takes care of their own, or if not the family, the extended family, or if not the extended family, the community as a whole. The idea is the primacy of the group over the individual. It means that there is a focus on the group rather than on the individual. To overcome obstacles early on, it was not only desirable, but absolutely necessary. Those who first came to Israel in the beginning of the 20th century were not accustomed to manual labor. They were weakened by malaria and other diseases, and they suffered from the hostility of the Arabs. Survival rests on the cohesiveness of the group. Therefore, they must sacrifice some individuality to meet these demands. For example, the mandatory military service, the fact that taxes are the highest in the world, and so on and so forth. There is a widespread, almost compulsive resentment of any regimentation. The result is a mix of self-reliant individualism and a socialistic readiness to cooperate. In a survey study of 53 nations, Israel scored near the middle of the individual collectivism dimension. That might answer a question a little bit later. Another explicit value that they have is a deep connection to the land. There is knowledge that land is necessary for survival and protection, and it is in part a rebellion against many generations of Jews who have never had a real connection to any land. After all, you know how the old saying goes, take care of your land, and your land will take care of you. The Jews truly believe this. There is a desire to make the land fertile and blooming, And considering the environment, it has been mostly successful. There are attempts to settle as much land as possible. Even the most remote areas are settled in Israel. Roman number 2, size and behavioral outcomes. The kibbutz and Israel are both small, both physically and in members. There are about 6.7 million people in the country, of which 1.2 million are Arabs. The country is about the size of New Jersey, and 80% of the population lives in a small area because most of the country consists of deserts. Relations of all kinds are much more intimate in Israel. Children spend almost all of their time with the same group of peers throughout childhood. Adult members interact with the same people almost every day. Jews tend to maintain a relatively steady and intimate group of friends. After all, spending time with friends is probably the favorite pastime in Israel. People often meet at each other's houses without a need for an external entertainment or purpose. Families are also a close-knit group. This sense of closeness also manifests itself in the responsibility many parents feel toward their children, even when they have become adults. In fact, when parents can afford it, buying an apartment for sons or daughters when they get married is a common practice, and financial help frequently continues even after that stage. Children also tend to expect this help. Maintaining anonymity and privacy requires hard work. While in Italy people talk about everything, in Israel it is such a small sphere that everybody just knows what is going on with everyone else. There are 295 people per square kilometer in Israel, whereas a comparative figure in the U.S. is only 30. And their sense of closeness leads to a heightened intensity of experience. Tragedy rarely remains isolated within a family. News travels fast and immediately affects even apparent strangers. Israelis are obsessive listeners to radio and TV news. No people in the world tunes into the news as often or as regularly. That's all we're going to cover for today. I hope that you all enjoy your upcoming weekend. This is the last video for week 3. Hope you all have a good day. Be good, do good. Bye.